Alright, so the iPhone 12 is touted to be the perfect iPhone made by Apple, yet, at least before the iPhone 13 series is releasing. And to be honest, I think in this long term review of the iPhone 12, I'm just going to accept that frankly, but that just doesn't end there. So, we'll get more into the details and talk more about the iPhone 12 in this long term review of the iPhone 12 in 2021. So, let's get started. So, before we get into anything else, let's clear out the elephant in the room, the design change with the iPhone 12. Now, with the iPhone 12 series, the whole design language of the iPhones have changed after a long time. From the iPhone 6 to the iPhone 11, the series had a rounded corners with the whole build quality itself, but right now Apple has shifted back towards their boxy designs which they had with the 4S and the 5S. Now, if you remember holding the boxy design in your hand with the 4S or the 5S at least once, or owning an iPhone 5S or 4S, you remember how good it is. And with that taken into consideration, and with the development of the fact that we get edge-to-edge displays now and all of that, the boxy design is actually a refreshing piece of thing which is coming along with the iPhone 12. I mean, the iPhone 12 is really amazing with this boxy design. I like it a lot and I have nothing to complain about this, and that's why I feel it is one of the key elements of making you feel different with this iPhone. At least after repetitive same design language, this feels like it's something out of the box, but it's actually something Apple has already done. Now, with the design factor, let's also talk about what goes around the phone itself. Now, in spite of having such a boxy design, the size is maintained really well with the 12 mini, the 12 and the 12 Pro as per to my liking, which is around 6.1 inches or 5.9 inches in height actually, which feels really good to hold in terms of these particular models. With the 12 Pro Max, it takes a hit with having chamfered edges with the boxy design. Now, that's a different thing to talk about, but for the 12, it really does feel like the best design language. It's aluminum finish towards the side and glass towards the back, and that's pretty much every iPhone right now after the iPhone 8 series, but it really does feel refreshing with this new design language. As I told you, you have 5 different colors which are really nice, with black as the normal color which you would get with every normal iPhone, and overall the design language itself screams premium with this whole new boxy approach with the iPhone 12. The button placements are the new kind, with the power button towards the right and the volume rockers towards the left, and the ring and silent alert button. Everything else remains the same as far as you have seen the iPhone since the iPhone 10 at least. So overall the design language is nothing to complain about. With that out of the room, which is the design factor, let's talk about the features and the specifications which the phone comes with. And before I get into what inside the phone itself, let's talk about what's outside in the front of the phone. Now, this thing is actually the main difference this year, or at least the past year, with the iPhone 12. The iPhone 12 comes with an OLED panel now, which is quite different from the 11 series, which had an LCD panel which didn't even touch the mark of having a full HD resolution. But now it's much more than a full HD screen resolution. With HDR10 Plus support, you have Dolby Vision support in the screen, and it's a proper OLED panel which is superb. The pixel per inch is about 406, and it's actually super good. I mean, it's really good to look at the screen after a long time. I mean, having LCD screens repetitively on the models you paid less for seemed like a thing with Apple since the iPhone 7 at least, and now you get AMOLEDs on almost all of the models from the 12 mini to the 12 Pro Max. It feels like they've at least get together to that fact that all the phones will at least have the OLED screens as something which is similar. So the screen on the front is actually something refreshing, and it feels really nice when it's compared to the fact that it's a 6.1 inch screen compressing to the height of about 5.8 inch, which is the phone's height itself. And overall the screen feels like a blessing. It is immersive, it is nice, it's edge to edge, while the notch is still present on the top since the iPhone 10. Again, I'm referring a lot to the iPhone 10, but again the notch is here to stay, and I mean, it doesn't really pose as an issue after you set wallpapers which go along with the notch itself, or you just don't notice it frankly after you use for some time. So the design language on the front and the features for the screen itself is really nice. But the screen is only the main part or the first thing you see with this device, so we'll get inside and talk about the other factors which sum up for the iPhone 12 and the amount you pay for it. So when you go inside the phone itself, you actually have specifications which go to the processor and the amount of RAM it has. And with the iPhone 12, you have the A14 Bionic chip. Now this is the most recent iPhone chip yet, and obviously it's the powerful chip from Apple yet, so it performs amazingly. We'll talk about performance later, but you have the A14 Bionic chip. Apart from the A14 Bionic chip, you have a touted to be 4GB RAM inside the iPhone 12, and it performs really great. Compared with the other devices which came earlier, this really seems like a fast phone overall at any point, and we'll talk about that also later. Now apart from that, the phone also has a 2800 mAh battery and comes with 20-watt fast charging support, which is not much, but at least Apple has come to this range is what everybody's talking about. And the phone also has cameras which are quite similar to the specification of what the iPhone 11 had the previous year, but there are slight differences which have been made, where night vision and other features have been added towards the ultra wide camera also, and overall it's been a better thing. So the cameras are two 12MP cameras, and you get that as the whole feature list of the iPhone 12 itself. Now frankly, if you just look at this, you might think it's basic. And frankly, the iPhone 12 does scream basic. It doesn't have anything which goes over the top. You don't have a 120Hz screen, or you don't have a battery which is actually much bigger than the one they gave in the iPhone 11. It's been a year, and you probably know what the 12 looks like. And if you're looking to buy this in 2021, it's a phone which does everything the right way, and they've stuck to the basics, and they've done that well. And that's what the features list of this whole phone screams about. Now, as we've talked about that, I'll get into the part where I talk about the cameras itself. And I mean, if you're getting an iPhone, this is one of the main things you're going to be targeting for. And let's talk about how these cameras are in 2021, right before the iPhone 13's launch, which is about of 2 or 1 month away. I mean, the cameras are absolutely amazing. They are something which you buy an iPhone for, like I told you, and with the iPhone 12 they just made it even better. The 12MP plus 12MP setup, which is on the back, where one of it is the normal camera and the other one is the ultra wide camera, is just made better with much more technology induced into it. And with the f-stops being increased, you get more light which goes inside the camera itself, and with the night mode also being activated for both the cameras now, you get amazing results even in the night time. The overall camera performance is really amazing. The video recording capability is on another level now, and that's mainly because of the fact that it supports HDR video recording now, and also the fact that it supports Dolby Vision technology inside the video recording part itself. Now both of these are toggleable inside the settings, but by default, if this is turned on, the videos which you get from these are amazing. They're social media worthy, they're content creation worthy, and the videography and the photography part, iPhone is pretty sorted out. The video resolution is up to 4K 60 FPS on the back and 4K 30 FPS in the front, and this is also obviously amazing. The cameras are not to any extreme. You don't have any extra sensors which some Android people might tend to give just for the face of giving them, but Apple doesn't do that. You have two cameras, they do their job, and it's as similar as the setup to the iPhone 11, but it just does the job much better because of the addition of night mode, and also the fact that they've made sure the deep fusion technology with Apple has become better. Now when you talk about the image quality itself, there's saturation which pops right out. The dynamic range is amazing. You have superb image quality even when you zoom out or zoom in or send it to people across through WhatsApp documents or email, anything. It retains the quality, and there's something about iPhone photos which have always been great, and it's great in this too. And talking about the image quality, it applies to both the normal camera and the ultra wide camera, and here the ultra wide camera also retains every single thing the actual camera represents: the colors, the saturation, the image quality, and everything. It does not look like it comes from an entirely different phone, and that's been evident since the launch of having two cameras on the iPhones, and it continues to be the same. It's really amazing. Now when it comes to video recording, stabilization is obviously amazing. It has OIS, which is optical image stabilization, and video recording is just bliss. Now when you're getting the iPhone 12 in 2021 right now, if you really think that this phone is something you're also getting for the process of creating content on any platform, that is, this might be your best choice. And not only talking about the 12 mini or the 12 Pro, whichever you can afford, is actually the best camera set devices which you can buy right now for your own purpose if you're concentrating more on the content creation side too, or just having fun with clicking pictures with this camera setup. I mean, they're amazing. And when you talk about the selfies, they're also really sharp. The 12 MP camera works really great, and because of the fact that it's also a little bit wider, you can take group selfies which look much better. So overall, the whole setup of the cameras are also amazing, and they par really very well even in 2021 after a solid about year since the year it launched back in 2020. And that brings us to the next point of performance in 2021 with this iPhone 12. And I mean, there's nothing to rant, complain, or even talk bad about. The A14 Bionic chip does what it has to really, really well. It's actually a very powerful chip, and it can do anything you think it can. I mean, you can push it to its extent and it'll give you the best of its possibility. And I think that's the best factors about the chips in Apple devices. And with the iPhone 12, the fact that the software, the iOS 14, has been really stable right from 14.1 to 14.7 with almost no actual bugs which you could notice or make the phone feel laggy or anything like that. It feels like the iPhone 12 really felt perfect with the chip inside and with the software combined. It did the everyday tasks really well. You could play games if you want to all day long. If you want to edit videos, shoot videos, do everything on your phone itself, you could email, you could call. Everything works really well with this phone, and even for the basic activities you wouldn't find anything wrong. And even if you're pushing it to its highest extent of using the chip to the full extent, you're not going to find anything better than this at this price point. The chip inside, the performance it gives, it's obviously the best, and there's nothing complainable about it, and there's nothing more to say about it. It's just simply good. You don't have to compare it to any other thing which is in the market for that price range. Now obviously, after all of this, we come to battery. Now the battery on the iPhone 12, it is physically a smaller battery than the one on the iPhone 11. The iPhone 11 had a 3200 mAh battery, whereas the iPhone 12 has a 2800 mAh battery. Now this might possibly be the reason of the phone being a bit lighter and also feels thinner than the last model, which was the iPhone 11, which feels actually bulky in front of the iPhone 12 if you compare it to it now. But overall, the actual performance doesn't change at all. The 2800 mAh battery, which is touted to be, again, which is actually being tested outside and told that it's a 2800 mAh battery, actually works well. If you're a moderate user or even a very normal user, you're gonna get a day of battery life from it, and the next time you're gonna charge the phone is gonna be the next day's morning, or you can even take it till its afternoon if you're a very moderate or light user. And even if you're a high-end user, like a very hardcore user, this is gonna give you at least a day's time with it, because the couplement of the efficiency with the chip and how it handles the process inside the phone itself, and also according to the way you use the phone, even if you're a hardcore user, if you use it properly, you're gonna get a day out of it. But if you mishandle it and not know what to do to save enough battery to get you through a day, it's obviously not gonna do that. But if you know what you're doing, and if you're a moderate to a high level user, you're still gonna get a day out of it. So the iPhone 12's battery doesn't seem like it's actually lacking anywhere, in spite of having a physically less battery size. And that's all thanks to the chip again, and also the efficiency of the whole system from the software to the hardware. Overall, the iPhone 12 is absolutely still amazing in 2021, right before the iPhone 13's launch. But the question here is, right now in August, should I wait for the 13 series, or should I just pick the iPhone 12 or the 12 mini if I want to? Frankly, this is enough. The iPhone 12 is just enough if you're just focusing on these two models right now. The 12 mini and the 12 is going through no refreshes with the 13 series. There's going to be minor design change, which is again being leaked a lot of times, and there's not going to be any big differences in terms of the screen or anything for the 13 series base lineup. Maybe the camera gets some extra improvements under the hood, or maybe a bigger f-stop or something, but overall there's not going to be a big change for the 13 and the 13 mini this year. But if you're targeting for the 13 Pro or the 13 Pro Max, that is the 12 Pro, the 12 Pro Max, buying it right now would be a different thing, because the leaks and the rumors suggest that there's going to be a 120Hz screen on the 12 Pro. There's going to be a slightly bigger battery on the 12 Pro to make it look different from having the same 2800 mAh battery from the iPhone 12 this year around. So there are changes which are going to come for the 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max. But if you're just looking at buying the iPhone 12 right now, just go ahead with it. The 13 is not going to make you feel like you're missing out on something, and it's, if you don't want to really stick to the point that you want to get the recent iPhone, the 12 is really the phone you should get right now. There are a lot of offers which are going around in Amazon or Flipkart or even offline stores if you want to, cashbacks and whatnot. If you get it for a decent price, the 128GB model is the best model you can get with the iPhone 12. It's a perfect phone. I don't have any complaints with it after all the time I've used it since the past 1 month since I've bought it now in 2021. And I think it's going to stay as the phone which is going to be a very worthy phone for the price I gave for it. And obviously, if you're giving the price for it, you're not going to regret it. A phone which will do everything you want to, go above and beyond if you want to, and will satisfy your needs. And I think that's pretty much it for this review. If it did help, please leave a like, comment. If you did have any more queries, comment that also. I'm here to help you. I'll chat with you in the comment section. You can follow me in my social handles, which will follow right about. But until then, this is Sudeep signing off. Peace out.